We will continue to promote trade. We will continue to resist protectionism and to reduce and eliminate tariff barriers. However, at Pittsburgh last year, the G20 went beyond merely advocating for trade and against protectionism as a basis for promoting global growth. We also established what we christened the framework for strong, sustainable, and balanced growth. Much of what the framework prescribes takes us in the right direction. I speak especially of consensus at the macro level on the causes of the recession and the mutual commitment among G20 members to coordinate their policies. However, this is where G20 partners must truly embrace enlightened views of sovereign behavior. Otherwise, we will pursue strategies, inevitably, that do not produce mutual advantage and therefore cannot be sustained. Like, drop your tariffs, I'll keep mine, or let your currency trade at market rates, we'll keep ours undervalued. We should know from the terrible experience of the 1930s that strategies that make it difficult for somebody to do business inevitably make it difficult for everybody to do business. So I say notions rooted in a narrow view of sovereignty and national self-interest must be reconsidered. We cannot do business as though, for one to have more, another must have less. That is not true, it is not just, and it cannot be the path we take. Our ambition, the necessary condition for success as the G20 moves forward, must be a shared belief that the rising tide of recovery must lift all boats, not just some. This is the exercise of sovereignty at its most enlightened. And I don't believe, by the way, let me just say this as an aside, I don't believe, by the way, that this is all about the structure of global institutions. It is more about a matter of attitude. Some words of former U.S. Secretary of State Cordell Hull seem apt. As you know, Hull was the driving force of the creation of post-war international institutions that are still with us today, the UN, for example, and the World Bank. Accepting the Nobel Peace Prize in 1945 for his work, Hull had this to say about international institutions. I like this quote because it's so similar to what my father told me for many, many years. To be sure, no piece of social machinery, however well constructed, can be effective unless there is back of it a will and a determination to make it work.
It doesn't matter what global structures we devise for our mutual betterment. If we don't have the right global attitudes, they will not work.
It doesn't matter what global structures we devise for our mutual betterment. If we do not have the right global attitudes, they will not work. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with the G20 necessarily focused on the economy, there does remain, in our view, an important role for the G8 group of nations, the group of 8 nations, in non-economic matters, in promoting democracy and development, peace and security. In this troubled world, we clearly recognize how much else there is that requires international cooperation. Terrorism threatens all of us. Piracy has returned to strategic seaways. Climate change disproportionately threatens the peoples least capable of adapting to it. And although tensions between the older nuclear states have largely dissipated, the spread of nuclear weapons to new actors allows the world no relief from anxiety. These are all complex, daunting threats that cannot be met by any one country working alone. They require the close cooperation of friends and like-minded allies. On these, the G8 can show leadership. As an example, let us close with something where progress is possible if we are willing. It concerns the link between poverty and the appalling mortality among mothers and small children in the third world. Did you know that every year over 500,000 women die in pregnancy and nearly 9 million children die before their 5th birthday? The numbers should shock and grieve us. Far too many lives and futures are being lost. And to the world's shame, so many have been lost for want of relatively simple health solutions, all within the reach of the international community. Often the keys of life are no more sophisticated than clean water, widely available vaccines, or the most basic treatment against infection. That so little has been done is tragic. It is not just about words on a page. It is real hunger, real suffering, real people dying. Canada takes its development commitments seriously, including those made at the G8. That's why, for example, we have double aid to Africa as promised, and we are on track with our commitment to double international assistance this year. So what is required to fight this particular problem of human misery? It is merely the same unity of purpose that we can find within ourselves readily enough when disaster strikes, as it recently did in Haiti, or as we can and do when the problem is one of trade, finance, or the economy. We must find that unity of purpose. Voilà pourquoi, en tant que président,
That is why, as president of the G8, Canada will champion a major initiative to improve the health of women and children in the world's most vulnerable
That
regions.
is why, as president of the G8, Canada will champion a major initiative to improve the health of women and children in the world's most vulnerable regions. There are indications that other members of the G8 share our concern and would be receptive to such a proposal. It is therefore time to mobilize for friends and partners to do something for those who can do little for themselves, to replace grand good intentions with substantive acts of human goodwill. Now, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the G20 and G8 meetings, I've tried to boil it all down, but as you can see, they do have before them a huge agenda, all to be addressed in an atmosphere of ongoing global economic and financial uncertainty. We must bring a sense of shared responsibility. We must be pragmatic, focused, and above all, encourage accountability. The G20 nations must fully deliver on the commitments they have made. The Group of 8 must live up to their promises. Accountability, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, is the prerequisite for progress. As host of the G8 and the G20 meetings this June, Canada will use its leadership role to focus on these challenges. And I look forward to collaborating closely with our international partners as we continue to support the economic recovery and chart new beginnings for humanity worldwide. Thank you very much for your attention. Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine.